Hi, my name is Mickey Somerville Jr. I'm a band director and a trumpet player. And so what I want to do today is just kind of give you a few quick tips on some things that you can do or that you should regularly do for your instrument to make sure that it's playing in the best possible condition. So one of those things is oiling your valves. This is very, very important that you do this regularly. How often kind of depends on how much you are playing. If you're playing for hours and hours and hours a day, then I personally recommend oiling your valves every day. When I was in college and I was playing, a ton, I picked up that habit of oiling my valves every single day. And doing that, I went for years without ever having a valve to stick or even get kind of laggy. They all just moved really, really well. And you don't want to wait until you have a problem to oil your valves. Don't wait until you're in the middle of that solo and all of a sudden your valve is acting up. So there's a specific way that I have found that works best for oiling valves. First of all, you have these holes in the bottom of your trumpet. Those are not for valve oil. If you take your instrument and you turn it upside down and you put your valve oil in these little bitty holes and then you turn it right back over, well, you're dumping out all that valve oil that you just put in. You see, what happens is as you're playing your instrument, moving these valves up and down, all the junk and stuff that's inside of your instrument goes down here, and these actually gather that. So you're basically putting your valve oil right down here amongst all that junk. So don't do that. Instead, what we'll do is we'll take our valve, you do this one at a time. I recommend turning your instrument at kind of an angle like this. Pull that valve part of the way out until you get into this shiny part down here. Take your cap off of your valve oil and just put just a little dot, or you can even do like a little C on each one of your valves. And when you turn it straight up, it should fall back into place. What I like to do personally is just kind of pick it up and do like that, just twisting it around a little bit just to spread it out on the valve. Make sure it's back in, facing the right direction. Repeat this process with all three valves. And if you do that regularly, you should not have a problem with your valves sticking. Now, another thing that we have to take care of and we have to make sure is that our slides move. This trumpet has, a number of different slides, and they each are very, very important. And it's very important that those slides not only move, but move very easily. You don't want to have to work to be moving those first and third valve slides. So personally, what I recommend is to get some kind of a slide cream or a slide grease. And I use a different thing for my tuning slides and my adjustment slides, I guess you would call them. So I take a little bit of this cream and kind of get it on my finger. And I'm just going to put a little bit on this brass part right here and kind of spread it out. Same thing, mine's reversed. So I have, one of those sleeves is on the instrument, one of them's on the slide. And then I'm just going to push that valve back down, slide this back onto the instrument. And then I'm going to go in and out a few times, just kind of get that broken loose. Now, if it feels a little bit tough to move, what you can do for these slides, for your third valve slide and your first valve slide, you can take that and pull it out just a little bit, and yet again, just put like a dot, literally just a dot of valve oil on each one of those, and that will help it to move a lot smoother. That's what I like to typically do with those. Now, for your main tuning slide, you want your tuning slide to move freely, but you don't want it to fly off. So I recommend a slightly thicker grease for your tuning slide. And you just put a little bit, just a little line kind of on the end here. If I can get some of this to come out. Does not take much. I don't know if you can see what I've got there. Not very much at all. Just put a little bit on there. And then, same as our other slides, we're going to take it. And I'm just going to spread it around here. Just spreading it out on that slide. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other part of that, which is actually on my trumpet. So on the main body of the instrument here. So I'm going to put a little bit on here. Just like that. Spread it around. And wipe your fingers off on something. Paper towels work great. Old t-shirt. And now what I like to do personally, everybody teach their own, is I'll take these two halves of that slide, I'm going to put them in one at a time, and as I'm putting it in, I'm going to work it in, moving in that, you know, twisting motion, and all I'm doing is just trying to spread that grease out. Same thing on this side. Put it in and just spread it out. Now, if you use too much, you'll end up getting some excess that'll kind of seep out. And if that happens, that's where that t-shirt or a paper towel is going to come in handy. Wipe it off. But if you do that correctly, then you're going to end up with a slide that moves easily, but not so easily that it flies out. Like I said, we don't want that with our tuning slide, with our main tuning slide. So we want it to move freely, but not on its own. Now, my third valve slide, I like for my third valve slide to move very, very freely. So if you can see, mine just falls down into place, and that's what I personally like, because whenever I play my D's, I want that note to just be easy, and I want that slide to move into place super, super easy. So I hope that helps out somebody. If you have any questions or anything like that, drop those down in the comments. I'll do my best to try to answer them. Hope you have a fantastic day, and happy practicing.